Welcome back, you guys. How you all doing today? In today's video, I'll be discussing more summer transfer news. Learn the latest reports surrounding the main 3 targets we want in summer. We have more bonus social links. Hear the latest news surrounding Paulo Dybala, as well as the fact that Frank Lampard has secured yet another Chelsea coach. So, hope you guys enjoy. Smash that like button, and without wasting no more time, now let's start with things and let's discuss the latest news surrounding Borna Sosa, as was reported by Football London today. Now, a few weeks back, I did discuss the story back then. At the time, it was suggesting that we were going to make a £25 million move to sign him in January, of course, to replace Ben. Of course, that never materialized, but the main information we got is that Borna Sosa has been a long-term target on our scouting list for a while, which I find very interesting. Anyway, let's discuss the updates, and they report that the club are looking to strengthen squad positions for next season, and Borna Sosa, of course, is seen as a competition figure for Ben Chilwell. I think this is good news. I think the reality is that Marcos Alonso most likely will be leaving at the end of the season. It's probably best to get him off the wage bill. He's on like around 100 to 150k a week, a ton of money. Emerson never returns. He's probably destined to remain at Lyon. They have an agreement to sign him for 13.5 million once his loan spell ends. So when you minus Alonso's wages off the wage bill, when you of course receive the transfer fee and the loan fees for Emerson as well too, I'd imagine that we could collect that money and reinvest all of that into signing a competition place for Ben. With how we tend to sign players, we normally have to sell to fund moves. It's how things work. We have to appease financial fair play, and Stuttgart do have many interesting young talents. However, this season they aren't doing too well. There's a possibility that they could get relegated at the end of the season, and if that is the case, then Borna Sosa could be made available on an even more competitive fee. Of course, 25 million was the valuation in January. If they get relegated, could that drop down to under 20 or around 15? If that's the case, that would be perfect for us. And for me, the main thing is now to fully compete on the same level as our rivals around us, you know, your Man Cities, your Liverpools, etc, etc. They have one advantage that most Chelsea managers have never had that luxury of having, and that's having a full squad made in their image. I think that is what we need to do now for Thomas Tuchel. If he has any hopes of really maximizing the full potential of his coaching, he needs to have a squad, a 25-man squad, a 25-man squad in his full image. Pep has that, Klopp has that, many managers have that, and I think Borna Sosa could be a nice addition for that. Of course, you know, Tuchel understands the German market very well, and most importantly, Sosa's skill sets would really complement this team. In football right now, we're seeing the rise of these playmaking fullbacks. You know, 2 main examples, Alexander-Arnold, Reece James as well. In a sense, these guys are like the Steph Curry of crossing. You know, crossing from these areas now is becoming so important to have technical players who can move the ball wide in these areas, and Borna Sosa really is like one of these like key passing merchants. He's got excellent technique. He's been likened to David Beckham because of that, even though he doesn't necessarily agree with it himself. However, when you see how this guy plays, he has kind of like mastered the art of crossing. You know, some players just have that instinct in particular parts of their game, and with Sosa, he can play every single type of cross. Lofted crosses, drilled crosses, first time ones, you know, dipping ones, near post ones, literally every type of cross. And I think in particular that would really benefit our strikers and our attacking players. I think they could definitely benefit from more early delivery of the ball, which we do see from Ben and Reece James. However, it's not the same quality when Alonso and others have to replace them in the team. It seems like next summer will be a pretty massive summer by the looks of things. With the amount of opportunities available in the market right now, I think now's the best time to move on to the second story for today. And this comes from journalist Angelo Mangianci, and he reports that the 3 main targets for next summer are Koundé, Rais Tchouameni, and Ousmane Dembele. It feels like these are like the main ones. I think we all kind of sense that feeling as well too. The reports around all these targets keep intensifying, and they have lots of insightful information surrounding, you know, our particular interest for all these targets. Dembele makes so much sense. The fact that he is available on a free gives us more flexibility now to then maybe spend more in other areas, and gives us hopefully more flexibility as well to reinvest in improving other squad positions in the team as well. I definitely feel like we could do with another window in which we maybe sign maybe 4 to 5 players for sure, because as I stressed earlier in the first part, Tuchel needs to have a full squad in his image. You know, if we want to be a team that's competing on all fronts at the club boards, you know, that's the reason behind why they do absolutely anything at this club. give the manager the resources he needs. I think it's that simple, to be honest. Of course, these targets are excellent ones. I think Koundé in particular is a very interesting one. I think that could depend on whether guys like Christensen leave or Rudiger leave, etc, etc. I still hope that if we do pursue Koundé, that's not going to affect the future of Levi Colwill. I think when you have a player this good in your ranks who's literally, as I keep really stressing, a wonder kid, and as in like, this guy is so special for me, probably the best young defender we produced since John Terry. If he doesn't have a future or like a pathway into the first team, then we're doing something wrong. Yeah, we're doing something wrong. So I hope that he will come back to the squad as well too. Of course, you guys know my thoughts and opinions behind signing a midfield player as well too. Rice, Tchouaméni, either one I'm happy with, because for me in that same category, that same level. Be interesting to see what gets done. Reports so far are kind of swaying more towards Declan Rice being the main choice. I guess that makes a lot of sense. As I'm saying, Tuchel believes in squad harmony, a united team, and Declan Rice has a ton of friends at the club already. Declan Rice came to the academy from like a kid's. You know, he's a Chelsea fan as well too. Like, it makes perfect sense to pursue him and sign him, especially when he's showing the potential and form now, which is less that he is worth that money, and he will be one of the best guys in this position. I think it's quite clear to see. Ever since he made his debut as a 17-year-old, he keeps on rising and rising and rising. However, you know, ideally, I would love if we could sign both. That won't happen unless, like, I don't know, Kante, George, these guys leave. But it would pay me if another team profited off having Tchouaméni in their team. Oh, it's a hard one. It really is. I think Tchouaméni also is an incredible player. I love his technique, his passing. I mean, the guy knows how to defend his balls too, sniff out that danger, kickstart attacks. He's like a midfield player that can do everything. And as I always say, you know, we do have a history of signing that particular profile of player in our team and then going to have unbelievable careers and really leave like a lasting impact at this club. Oh, it's a hard one. It really is a hard one. I like both. Ideally, in my situation, I'd probably target Tchouaméni this summer and hope that maybe Rice could be made available for the season after. I feel like if we really pursued him and maybe we're like, yo, maybe one more season away when we can replace other guys in the team, you're the next one we want. That would be my ideal situation, just so we don't have other clubs profiting off, you know, two guys that could be, you know, world-class defensive midfield players in the future. We have to see what happens with that one. And of course, Ousmane Dembele, as I'm saying, you have to sign him because he's available on a free, and I can't have him strengthening other teams. Tuchel works with him, he knows the player, he knows how to get the best out of the player too. And to think that we could have a strike force of Dembele, Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, I don't know, Kai Havertz, Lukaku, Broja, oof. Ooh, that is an attack that is balanced and is ready to challenge for title. So let's see what happens this summer, you guys. But it's looking to be, listen, yeah, it's looking to be very promising and expect big things to be coming. Right now, we move on to the third story and let's discuss the latest news surrounding Paulo Dybala. And this news comes courtesy of 90 Min. Now, before you guys roll your eyes, I think this is definitely a pretty insightful one. The reality is right now is that Dybala, Juventus, you know, they're struggling to reach an agreement when it comes to him signing a new contract. You know, Dybala has been pretty key for Juventus this season. He has been their captain on multiple occasions. He's always been key for them. However, the fact that he'll be made available on a free pretty soon, I guess it's no surprise why his agent is now holding talks with a host of clubs across Europe. In particular, 90 Min report that he has held talks with a host of English clubs, and essentially, you guys, these are like the top 6 clubs in the country, so I'll let you guys figure out who they are in particular. And after that, he's planning to hold talks with Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan as well too. So, you know, a player like Dybala, possibly made on a free as well too. It's the type of player where you have to hold discussions. You know, you're not going to turn down talking to his agent. I mean, no club would do that. Everyone's going to speak to him. And I don't know, a part of me cynically feels like I'd imagine that, you know, Dybala will probably still remain at Juventus. Probably using this discourse around him to leverage his position with them to get the contract that he does want. But time is ticking. 30th of June is when he will be made on a free. And a part of me thinks, if we made some changes in our attack, you know, we're looking at maybe getting rid of your Pulisic's, Werner's, who even knows if maybe another one was to go as well too. Dybala as well as Dembele, is that overkill? Am I just getting a bit too ahead of myself? The fact that Dybala is someone that could play as a replacement alternative to Lukaku at times, can play with him, can play on the right hand side as well too, alongside your ZX, you know, alongside Hudson-Odoi. I'm looking at Liverpool, I'm looking at Man City, I see the strength and depth they have in attack. And there's lots of rotation, and I imagine that when you have quality like this, as we've seen with Tuchel, he is happy to rotate attacking players in his team. So I'd imagine that a lot of these guys would get the minutes, and the fact that maybe Morrison would maybe suit this new way of playing, which I really feel strongly about, that we are going to see 4-3-3 for next season. Then I don't know, adding some of his quality to the team. It's an interesting one. It is. It really is an interesting one. I don't see it happening at all though. It's nice to think about, at least. But then when you have someone like Armando Broja, who's showing that this guy can definitely lead the line for us for years to come in the future, do you close that path down to him? I probably don't think so. I'm just happy with Dembele, to be honest. Dybala is a very tantalizing possibility though. And to be honest, his wage demands aren't too crazy. Juventus weren't able to reach his €8 million a season demands. I think that's like around at what, 6.5 million. So it's not that bad, to be honest. I'm gonna have to pose this question to you guys. How do you possibly feel about maybe Paulo Dybala next season? How could you see it working? Let us all know below. And we end things with the final story as Frank Lampard adds yet again another Chelsea coach to his backroom staff. I guess we say goodbye to Chelsea legend Ashley Cole, who links up alongside Joe Edwards now, as well as two former coaches in Paul Clement and Chris Jones as well too. So Lampard, of course, you know, he was a youth coach himself too at the club. You're working with trusted figures. It'll be interesting to see how they all perform at Everton. You know, Lampard, I feel like he's very good at introducing foundations into a team. Like I said, we've definitely benefited from the foundations that Lampard has introduced to us. Of course, you know, the work rate pressing. Tuchel was able to maybe elevate that, of course, but those foundations are put in there by Frank Lampard. So Everton now become a very interesting team in the league. I look forward to when we get to play against them near the end of the season on the 30th of April. Of course, good luck to everyone there. And on that note, you guys, I'm going to wrap things up and keep things moving. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. And on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV. I'll catch you guys later for some more videos. Cool.